Hello and welcome back again. I'm on a roll today making some videos. Last one was chaos and war, World War III, but also investment opportunities. I always like to end the reality with opportunity because the world is full of doom and gloom. But here we are to navigate it all. So feel free to subscribe. You haven't got to if you don't want to, because I don't do it for subscriptions. I make videos because of what I have become to understand, or my knowledge, or what I know how to do. And in this one, I'm going to be covering buy-to-lets or property purchases as investment vehicles to generate cash flow. Can be exciting, can sound boring. But here we go, not scripted, some diving straight in there. I started investing in properties when I was probably about 21 years of age. I'm now a young 54, need to get that one in. Where I had an insurance business and I used my profits from that to buy properties cash. I like to buy properties that needed renovation because that's how you buy into equity. And I buy them. I knew roughly how much a new kitchen would cost, a new boiler, how much to decorate, flooring, maybe some building works, windows, etc. I had a good idea when I was viewing properties how much I would have to spend on a property, and that is how I would negotiate the price. So if a property needed £10,000 or £15,000 spent on it or invested into it, I would chip the price by that plus another five. If a house needed a new boiler, which is an expensive part, or a new roof, I would chip the price by a lot more. And sometimes it would accept, sometimes it wouldn't. So the real trick is to get friendly with agents, estate agents. Find out the background to a property, how long it's been on the market, what's the situation. In some cases, they are inheritances and the family just want cash. And therefore, when you are a cash buyer, you can complete fast, quickly, and the family can have the money. And that's the way that tends to work. So I would buy a property, I would renovate, and I'll give you some numbers. So say I bought a property all them years ago for £100,000. I would do some quick market research, properties that are up for sale locally in the same street and so on, same size, etc. And let's say they were worth £130,000, all done and nice. I would offer £90,000. I would buy it. I would spend 10 or 15 on it. It's already worth the 130. Then I would mortgage it and get a majority of my money back on a buy-to-let mortgage, and on to the next one. So I would use the same money, the same 100,000, and just keep rolling it to accumulate properties. And at one point, I had I can't remember. I think it's about 11 properties that I subsequently sold during the housing peak to cash in and take advantage of the profit really. And then I started buying more properties again. Ironically, I should have kept 11 really. But the formula is to buy that need renovation, do the work. They're hopefully worth more because you've done your research properly. Then you can mortgage them, rent them out. The rent pays the mortgage and hopefully a bit of profit left over. Or if you're in a fortunate position of having plenty of cash, you can rent them out, don't mortgage them, and use that as cash flow. So in terms of yield, depends on the area, depends on the houses, but I tend to operate now for trying to get at least a 7% yield. So that is the value of the property and what kind of rental income you can get on there, because I can get 4% interest with the money in the bank. So therefore I'd want a 7% yield if I'm going to tie up money into a house, because when your money is tied up, it's not liquid, which means it's not easily accessible. You need to sell the house. To sell the house, you need to kick your tenant out. Now, that can take 6 months or a year. Plus, then you have to sell the house, which can take another 6 months or a year. So it's not liquid. But of course, I do it for cash flow, for monthly income. The investment sits there. Over 10 years, it tends to grow on average about 3% a year. Depending on the area, it can go quicker. But I think in my mind, I just go right, the capital appreciation, 3%. The rent is cash flow and on to the next property, really. Now, in terms of getting mortgages on properties, that can be a challenge because many banks still require your income to match, sort of defeats the object, really. However, some banks, and I use a particular bank that will lend against the asset and the rental income, rather than going, how much is your income and can you afford it, and all the rest of the nonsense that these banks tend to do. So if I mortgage, I use that bank. In majority of cases, I tend not to mortgage. In a fortunate position, I sold my insurance business 4 years ago to private equity, so now I look for cash flow. And of course other investments, but mainly right now I'm on a cash flow binge because I don't have an income. So I'd like to generate an income for a good sense of security. Now, the other thing I'm invested in right now is social housing. Labour loves social housing. They just announced 31 or something billion into social housing, so assisted living, where I can buy a property cash. I can get 12% yield with zero landlord responsibility, because the management contract is then out to a housing association that gets rent for assisted living individuals from the DWP, Department of Work and Pensions. And, that can work well. So I've just done my first one. I will be looking for another one in about a month's time, and diversifying some of my other investments as they climb, cashing in some profit and putting them into social housing. Because the UK Labour government loves social housing. They hate landlords, but they love social housing. Now, I just saw come through as well something new in England. Wales have a thing called Rent Smart Wales, where landlords have to register, and it gives you all the courses and things you have to sort of legally do, really. So it's a useful tool. But nonetheless, it's always regulation, right? So England are bringing out the PRS database. I'll read this for you. As part of the Renters' Rights Bill, England is introducing a private rented sector PRS database that landlords must register with before letting or marketing a property. It will record landlords and property details, safety certs, compliance with the Decent Home Standard, rent history, and even eviction or possession data. So failure to register could result in civil penalties. It's a great one. There's civil penalties of up to £7,000, with repeat offenders facing up to £40,000 fines or even criminal action. So, if you are a landlord, be warned. If you are not a landlord and thinking about it, be warned. Do your research, understand it. Okay, it's one of the reasons I'm now preferring social housing, because again, Labour love that. And there's no landlord responsibility. It's down to the housing association, and they take up all the repairs and cleaning and all of that real good stuff, right? So look, I hope that helps. I hope you go on your journey for cash flow. I hope you invest, because that is the way of protecting your future. Please subscribe. You don't have to. I do it to share. And I hope you enjoy the video, and wait for the next one. Thank you.